So, you got a pitch meeting reaction for me? Yes, sir, I do. We are going to watch the Suicide Squad pitch meeting today. Been waiting for this one. Did come out a couple days ago, but hey, we're here now. Guys, subscribe to Ryan George's solo channel if you haven't done so already. And yeah, subscribe to Screen Rant. It's a good channel. He's carrying the whole channel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's get into this.
So, you have a movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do. So you remember Suicide Squad from 2016?
Oh, yeah, that movie that I hired people to kind of chop up, and then everybody blamed the director for how much they hated it?
Oh, David Ayer. Oh, that has a nice ring to it, actually.
Right.
Yeah. Suicide Squad, the... No? Oh, you want to put it at the beginning? Yeah, that's good, too.
Great.
So is this like a sequel, or a reboot, or a soft reboot?
Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to take some of the characters from the first movie, played by the same actors.
Oh, very fun, and some new ones, too. Oh, yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of new characters.
There's gonna be one named Blackguard, and I thought we could get Pete Davidson to play him.
People love Pete Davidson. That's gonna be a fun character. And his face is gonna explode almost immediately.
Oh, my God.
I also thought we could get Nathan.
And people like that, too.
Here.
Oh, now he's great. What's he gonna do? Die almost immediately?
Okay, wow. Michael Rooker, he'd be great to play one of these guys.
To do what?
Die almost immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, what is happening? Well, see, sir, there's gonna be a whole Suicide Squad team at the beginning of the movie that just kind of gets wiped out as a distraction. Okay, so like lesser known characters, and then you'll have more known characters in the movie too, like Captain Boomerang. Yeah, he's in the movie.
So what's he gonna do?
Die almost immediately. Oh my God, okay, does anyone not die immediately? Is the movie 5 minutes long? Well, we want to start the movie by sending the message that anyone can die at any time, right? Ah, that's just like in real life. Yeah, so anyway, out of that first team, there's Rick Flag and
What?
Harley
Just
Quinn
like
that
in
make
real
it out
life?
alive.
Yeah, what about on the main team? Who do we have on there?
Well, there's this one guy, right? And he's like an amazing shooter, and he's like a reluctant leader, and his main motivation is his daughter. Yeah, Deadshot. I know Deadshot. He was in the last movie. No, this is a guy called Bloodsport. Oh.
Did you guys know that the original concept art was showing that it was supposed to be Deathstroke, who I think James Gunn was originally writing for? There's actual concept art for it. It's pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, when you break down the nuts and bolts, it's a very similar type of setup backstory. I don't know what to believe. Some people say that, yeah, Deadshot was supposed to be in it, but then Idris Elba was cast to replace him, but then they were like, no, we might want Will Smith to come back later, so have Idris Elba play a different character. But then I'm like, what about the Deathstroke concept? I don't know what's real.
It's a good thing they all have the same backstory.
Yes.
Okay. And there's this other predatory animal character that eats humans. Killer Croc. Yeah, I know. No, this is King Shark. Ah, I should stop trying to predict things, I guess.
You're not particularly good at it, sir.
And we also have this other character who shoots polka dots and another one who controls rats.
Working for pest control is tight.
No, her name is Ratcatcher too, and she can like control rats with her mind. And then there's Peacemaker, who's like Bloodsport, except he murders in the name of peace.
Who were you thinking for that role?
I was thinking maybe John Cena.
Oh, you know what? I can't see him in that role.
Because of his catchphrase. I understand the joke, sir. I just hate it. That's fair. So anyway, pretty much all these characters
This hit
have
has run
sad
its course.
backstories. Oh, okay. So I imagine they're each gonna have a tattoo on their forehead explaining that? No. What? Then how will people know? Well, once in a while, one of them will stop and explain their past to the other characters, which I think you'll agree is a little more subtle. I guess. And so, yeah, Amanda Waller implants bombs into all these people's necks, which is the whole premise of the thing.
Sure.
And so she sends them all to this island laboratory to destroy this experiment called Project Starfish.
So what kind of stuff does the squad get up to on this island?
Oh, well, first of all, they need to go save Rick Flag because it seems like he's been captured.
Okay.
So Peacemaker and Bloodsport, they have this kind of competition where they go through this camp and just kill people in horrific ways, just extremely bloody and graphic. Oh, so we're like talking like an R rating here. Yeah, because this way we get to see some brains and spinal cords and say stuff like 69 and splooge. 69, that's the funny number.
Yeah, it is.
And the other stuff is gross.
Yeah, it is. Very fun.
And there's a dick
They
in there,
eventually
too.
reach this tent that Rick Flag is in, and it turns out the camp was full of good guys. He wasn't even captured.
Oh, whoops.
Whoopsie. And so Rick Flag didn't hear any of the commotion? No, he didn't hear the people screaming or exploding or the guard tower collapsing right next to him. How did he not hear any of that? He was in a tent. Oh, tent Rents are
fair.
known for being soundproof. Carry on. And so we're also going to meet up.
Oh, that is brilliant. Both times I've seen it, and for some reason my mind never actually went there. I was so invested in how cool the scene is and how funny the reveal is that I never actually thought about the very obvious gap in logic of how did none of them hear what was going on the whole time. There's so much noise happening.
At least after the exploding bullet. Like, come on.
I heard like Cosmonaut Variety Hour criticize that scene for kind of pulling him out because they're supposed to be stealthy, but they're making a whole bunch of noise and all that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. That doesn't really bother me, but that is a solid point right there. That's a very solid point.
And so we're also going to meet up with Harley Quinn.
And what's she up to?
Well, see, since she's the most popular character, I figured she should get her own solo movie.
Well, she already got her own movie.
Yeah, well, she's going to get another one inside of this one.
That makes sense.
So she has this whole big side quest and even a love interest, and she ends up being captured by these military people, and she's being tortured for info.
Oh, that's painful.
It sure is, sir. But then she pretends to be unconscious, and so she strangles this guy with her legs when his back is turned.
Well, thank God he took a break with his back turned while still within her reach, or that plan wouldn't have worked at all.
Yeah, it worked out pretty great. So then she takes out a whole bunch
sure
of
it was a
military
plan.
guys with like crazy martial arts and stuff.
Harley Quinn is better at hand-to-hand combat than a full squad of trained military people?
Yes.
No further questions.
So eventually they get their hands on this bad guy.
Crazy.
That is so true because it's funny when you look back at the first Suicide Squad movie, that was something that a lot of people were going, what? Harley Quinn's like really great at martial arts, and yet when this one rolls around, no, not even myself questions it. It's
Yeah,
just
'cause now
I
it's
accept it.
canon.
Yeah, I
Now
accept
we've
it as
seen
part
it.
of her character.
Yeah.
But even like the animated property, she's really good at martial arts. But I remember it like was throwing people for a loop quite a bit of like, how is she so good at martial arts?
Yeah. Especially because we don't see any transition between her going from being Dr. Quinzel to Harley Quinn.
No, yeah, she has like a gymnast background, but that's not really explored. Doesn't really mean you're an expert martial artist either. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So eventually they get their hands on this bad guy called the Thinker, who's been running the starfish experiment for like 30 years.
Okay.
And so obviously that's going to lead into like the third act where they have a big situation to deal with.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. So what color's the sky beam gonna be?
Actually, I was kind of thinking maybe we don't do a sky beam.
Well, we usually do a sky beam.
Yeah, but I was thinking we could do more of like a giant hive mind starfish from outer space getting eaten by millions of rats, and one of the main characters pierces its eye with a javelin and all the rats go in there.
We usually do a sky beam.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So anyway, it turns out that Amanda Waller told Peacemaker to get this hard drive that proves that the government's been funding the whole starfish thing.
Oh.
But Rick Flag doesn't think that's very nice, so they get in a fight and Peacemaker kills Rick Flag.
Very rude.
And then Ratcatcher 2 gets the hard drive, so Peacemaker wants to kill her.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for her to get out of that situation.
Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely
inconvenience.
Oh, really? Yes, because of an explosion, Bloodsport's gonna fall through multiple stories in a
I
building
love that
and land in
moment.
the
I
exact
don't care what anyone
spot
says.
to save the day without injury.
Oh, that is convenient.
It sure is, sir. Then we're gonna have a scene where King Shark falls from a building and gets shot point blank with a bunch of machine guns, but his skin's so tough it doesn't hurt him at all.
Very cool. How'd they inject the bomb into his neck? Unclear. And so this explosion
Oh
is also.
my god! What a great call!
That is good, yeah. Because I'm not even 100% clear on what the rules are. I was like, the bullets just seem to bounce off this guy unless you get like way many of them. So what do they have to do? Like get just an industrially thick needle or something?
I don't know. That's a great question because yeah, the bullets bounce off him, but those like weird sea creatures in the aquatic tank were able to bite into him. That's where all his wounds were from and what he was bleeding from.
Yeah, maybe they
Yep.
needed one made out of a tooth.
Lack of rules here. That's a great question. That is solid.
So this explosion is also gonna set this giant hive mind starfish free.
Uh-oh.
And so this thing shoots out little starfish that attach to people's faces.
And that's how it does its hive mind thing? Exactly. So I guess the good guys need to keep their faces covered for the whole fight, huh?
No, they just do it like once each, and that does the
Yeah.
trick.
That's
what I got.
I don't wanna
That is
see their
true.
faces, so the starfish just
Very
kinda
true.
stop going
They just give up afterwards.
Okay, so this hive mind is kind of a big moral dilemma to tackle, huh? Like, do you kill these people that are innocent, but they're being mind controlled by an alien? Oh no, we're gonna have a little line explaining that they're corpses under the starfish, so they're already dead. Oh, okay, thank God. So we don't have a skybeam, but we do have a faceless, soulless army. Well, we gotta do some of the classics. Yeah, we do.
I will say, though, within the faceless, mindless army, that when you do get to the Starro speech, a few lines about how he was just happy floating in space, that is very effective.
And they all have colorful faces.
Yes, and I like the action scene. I know we're just making jokes here, but it reminded me so much of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers that I was able to see it for that light more than anything else.
So then Ratcatcher 2 summons millions of rats to attack this starfish. Seems like maybe she could have solved a lot of the movie's problems all on her own. Yeah, well, this is the climax of the movie, so this is really when they use the full extent of their powers. That's fair. And so yeah, then Harley Quinn pierces the eye of the giant starfish with a javelin, and that takes care of that. And so they hadn't fired bullets at the giant starfish eye? They did, but only the javelin does any damage.
What? Yes. Wait, why are knives so much stronger? Why are blades so much stronger than bullets in this universe?
Maybe it's the length advantage. Maybe you need just a really long bullet.
That's such a great question. Why there's ever a shot of them shooting the eye?
Yeah, I feel like there's one shot where you got all the soldiers shooting upwards and you can see little pops of smoke or whatever where the bullets are hitting. But yeah, I don't know. I guess in the moment of my, suspension of disbelief, I was like, maybe they're just bouncing off? I don't know.
It's a great question, man. I think, though, that they do kind of put a bit of a fantasy, almost Arthurian, not that heavy, but there is something that feels a little bit fantastical about the javelin.
Its magic's been building to this moment. Yeah, it was journeying here to be the crucial key in turning the fight.
Because when she is fighting the soldiers, it seems like just like one little hit, even coming from the side, can just like destroy them. So I don't know.
Special javelin.
I don't know much about the character javelin. I don't know how special that javelin really is.
And so then as Starro is dying, he's like, I was happy floating in space, looking at the stars. Hey, excuse me, did you just make me feel bad for a giant alien starfish with a single line? I did. Wow, 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 wow. And so yeah, that's about it. What do you think? Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, I think it's gonna perform great at the box office. Me too, sir, so long as there's not some kind of seemingly unending worldwide event that causes hesitancy in people going to the theaters and also completely changes the way we release movies to streaming. Why would you say that? Hey everybody, Ryan here, that's me. Thanks for watching the video. And if you liked it, feel free to click the like button and the subscribe button and all buttons of that nature. You can also leave a comment down below letting me know what other movies you want to see pitches for. There are also like hundreds
Dances
of
with Wolves.
The Room.
As always, check back soon for a new one. Bye.
Man, those variations in reaction delivery as the producer were top-notch in this one, man. Another killer pitch meeting. I think I've only maybe seen one pitch meeting that I was like, that was all right. I think it was Soul was the only one where I was like, that was all right. But every other one, brilliant. They're all like pitch perfect, I would say.
Puns are tight.
Guys, subscribe to Pitch Media Screen Rant if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Ryan George's channel. You can subscribe to us. Thank you for Ryan George for putting this brilliant video together. Hit that like button. Go watch Suicide Squad if you haven't done
Theaters.
so.
Do it in the theaters.
Last but not least, let's do a Pandemic Jones. PJ, you would be the perfect person to join a Suicide Squad. Think about it. If they really need someone part of the Suicide Squad mission, what better than having a guy named Pandemic Jones? A dude who has the osmosis ability to be able to start a pandemic with just enough concentration and willpower. Pandemic Jones, you are the next person on the list, part of the D-list category of James Gunn characters, but you will rise to being a scene stealer. It's your fate with such a name like that. The man who can single-handedly start a pandemic. And many of you guys don't even know this. He single-handedly started the pandemic we are currently in now, and we're the only ones who haven't judged him. So guys, I'm going to be putting out his email, his mailing address, if you really want to hit him up and have a conversation with him about everything that we're in right now, because he is solely responsible for all of that.
Very knowledgeable.
South Park was making fun of him. So Pandemic Jones, thank you for being part of our Patreon page. You keep doing what you're doing.